What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Assault curved treadmill. Let's check it out. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are in the home gym once again. And as you can see, I've got quite a bit of equipment in here, and I'm going to do reviews on some of the bigger components in upcoming videos. But today we are here to talk about this piece of equipment right here. This is the Assault curved treadmill. And why is it called a curved treadmill? Well, if you look at the platform that you run on, it's curved. And that's one of the differences between this treadmill and conventional treadmills that we have all run on in the past, which have a flat platform. But perhaps the bigger difference is that this treadmill does not have a motor. And so it's propelled by leg strength, turnover, cadence, and just human power. Now, when you're on a traditional conventional treadmill, you turn it on, you dial the speed up to the pace that you want to run at, the belt starts moving, and then you try to keep up with the treadmill. On this particular model, it doesn't move until you make it move. So as you notice here, as soon as I start to walk, the belt starts to move. As soon as I stop, the treadmill stops. So one of the things I really like about this treadmill is that it is very responsive, meaning it will react just as if you're running out on hard pavement or on the trail. So if you start off with a walk and then need to progress into, say, a light jog and then into a run and maybe sprint, it will react just like you would react when you're out running, out in the open. Slow down, speed up, and it'll go as fast as you can run. So I'll have a link down below in the description. There's a guy on YouTube, I think he's a soccer player, and he gets on one of these curved treadmills and gets the thing up to like 23 miles an hour. It's pretty amazing. One of the things I really like about the curved nature of the platform is that it promotes really good running form. And what do I mean by that? Well, in order to run on this, you have to find the sweet spot on the treadmill, and that's generally, for me, right about in the middle of this platform right here. And so what that's going to require is good posture, balance, right? Good alignment from your feet, hips, core, all the way up through your shoulders and head position. The way this platform is designed is it is intended to, as you start to run, to get you into the forward lean position, and then it'll almost make you correct yourself so that you have really good running posture. The other thing it does, as far as running form, is that it really helps promote what we as runners call a midfoot strike. And what the midfoot strike is, and all foot strike simply is how your foot comes into contact with the surface that you're running on. So here, as you start to run, because the platform is curved, it has a natural tendency for you to land mid-foot instead of as a heel striker. Now I want to get into this a little bit more. When I first started running, I was what's known as a heel striking runner. And what I mean by that is, as I would run, my lead foot would come out, and the first thing I would strike with is my heel, and then transition into the midfoot, and then to toe off. Trail leg comes along, heel strike again, midfoot, and then toe off. The problem with that way of running is that, one, it creates a bit of a braking force as you're running, depending on how far you get your foot out in front of you. And as runners, we don't want anything to slow us down. And so a braking type action is not very good. The other thing is that it creates a tremendous amount of strike force and impact force that starts with the heel and travels all the way up your leg. So your ankles, shins, knees, hips, lower back. And I can tell you, when I was running as a heel striking runner, I had a lot of different running related ailments and injuries. I had tendonitis in the ankle and both ankles, runner's knee, which is a pain we get in the knees as runners, shin splints, I had hip discomfort, lower back pain. And so I went to see a physical therapist, and she said, well, Ed, if you want to continue running marathons and continue running into the latter portion of your life, I'd really encourage you to switch your foot strike to what's known as a midfoot strike, landing in the middle portion of your foot or the ball of your foot, and then leading off that way. It's a more efficient way to run. And I said, well, that sounds great, but I have been running as a heel striker for all of my life, so how am I supposed to do that? And she said, it's actually quite easy. Take your shoes and socks off, get out onto some concrete or blacktop and just start running. And what you'll find is that you naturally get onto the balls of your feet because there's more padding there. And that makes sense. Just imagine running barefoot on concrete and heel striking. It would be excruciating, right? So I took her advice and did exactly that, tried it out on concrete and found she was right, that I got up onto the balls of my feet, and then I transitioned into grass, and then I put my shoes back on and started transitioning to the treadmill. I went to the local track, and just over a period of time of about, say, 4 to 6 months, I was, just able to connect my mind with the way my foot was striking the ground, and then evolved into a midfoot strike. And I've run that way ever since, and I can tell you I have not had any running-related injuries whatsoever. No discomfort. Is there a correlation? I think so, but again, there's plenty of runners out there, elite runners and people that run all the time that are heel strikers and have never encountered any injuries, and they're fast. So I'm just telling you what works for me. If you are a heel striking runner and you are experiencing some of the things that I'm talking about, like discomfort in the hips or ankles or knees, you may want to try and think about transitioning to a midfoot strike. What does one of these treadmills cost? Brand new, this costs $3,800. We live here in Lafayette, California, part of the Bay Area, and there's a fitness store here that sells fitness equipment that I bought a lot of equipment from in the past, so I got a little better deal. But if you were to just walk into a store or order it online, it's $3,800. And you may be thinking that's a lot of money for a treadmill with no motor. And the way I think about it is no motor, no maintenance. So I know a lot of gym owners that have this exact treadmill in their gym. A lot of commercial gyms are using them now. And it just so happens that the gym I'm training at has this treadmill as well. So having the consistency is great. But across the board, everyone that I've spoken to and every gym owner that I know that has them has told me the same thing. It is virtually indestructible. You can't break it because there's no motor to break, and it's a real workhorse. Separate and aside from that, there's not a lot of technology on this thing. If you look right up here, there's a digital readout board, and it just has the very basic essentials of what you'd like to see as a runner. Time that has elapsed, your calorie burn, distance, speed, and pace. I don't know if you can see that very well. And that just simply operates with a battery. So if the battery goes out, no problem. You can still operate the treadmill. So unlike a conventional treadmill that has a kind of a motherboard and a motor, if that motherboard goes down, I don't think there's a way for that treadmill to work. Maybe there is. With all of that said, I do want to say you certainly don't need this or any other treadmill to train for a marathon or to just start running. All you need is a decent pair of running shoes, some running gear, lace them up and, get out there and start running, right? That's one of the beautiful things about the sport of running is that it's very inexpensive to start. And if you decide to start running road races, there are entry fees, maybe some light travel fees depending on where you're running. But overall, it's a sport you can get into for very little money and you can virtually run anywhere. Now, I'll leave you with this. If you ever happen to come across one of these at, say, a gym or your friend's house, or you just happen to see one and you want to get on it and just start running, let me give you a couple of words of advice. The first thing you want to do is not jump on it and start running, because this almost acts like kind of a slippery slope, if you will. If you ever try to run up a muddy hill or where there's ice, this thing will just keep going underneath you. And if you get too far up this, lose your balance, you may end up hitting your face on that digital readout. That wouldn't be a good look. So what I'd encourage you to do, stand in the middle, find your balance first, grab both handrails, and then just start walking. Okay? And then as you start getting comfortable with that, maybe remove one hand, and then remove the other hand, and then continue to walk. And then as you pick up that pace, you can start maybe into a jog, and then you can get into a full sprint if you'd like. But trust me, don't just try to jump on it and start running. I've had this for about 9 months, and when I first got it and started running on it, I found that I exerted a lot more energy, and it took me about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes longer to run a mile. So it definitely makes you work harder, promotes good running form, and I love it. All right, everybody. So I hope this episode was informative and you got some useful information about the Assault Curve Treadmill. I'd really encourage you to try one if you ever come across one, with the only caveat about being safe. Don't try to get on it and break into a full sprint. Now, if there's other content you want me to cover, please leave it in the comments below. And if you happen to try one of these, I'd also like to hear from you on how you like it, what you think of it, because I really think it's a great piece of equipment for training, whether it's CrossFit, running, marathons, or triathlons. It's a really useful piece of equipment. I really appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so that you'll know every time I upload a new video. And looking forward to having you on this journey with me to the Ventura Marathon. And as I'm kind of evolving with how to film these vlogs and the format, we're kind of upgrading gear and that sort of thing as far as our equipment. I was also thinking, should I have like an outro for every video? And I don't know, but something came to mind to me today as I was driving, and maybe this will be my outro. Be well. I always want you to be well and healthy. Be kind to others. And also, and most importantly, believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one will. All right, that's it for this episode. Catch you on the next one. I'm out.